Thanks everyone for joining us and for another week of Q&A with Jim and Jim. Right now it's just me, Jim. Jim he's a little late, but he'll jump on a little later. So we'll get the ball rolling without him. Got some new faces I see jumping on. Again, this is like every 2 weeks, every other Friday, we do these kind of sessions. Whole point of it is, yeah, we can kind of initiate and start getting some conversations going. There's Jim. But this is very free flowing. Any questions, comments, news that's coming up in your world of self-storage? Cool. Bring it up. We chat about it. Because many times, the old adage, if you have a question, some people might not be comfortable in raising the question, but they probably have the same question you have. Cool. Just takes one person to bring it up because we all learn from each other. That's kind of the whole point of why we started this. I didn't want to have a system where it was just, like I said, just kind of like a webinar style and presentation of here's my slides and here's point 1, 2, reading a bullet point. No, that's a snooze fest. This is much more, much more interactive, much more real world stuff we're going through. I kind of bring up stuff I'm going through with my own businesses and same with Jim. And so, yeah, total free flowing. What's up, Jim? You made it.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Pretty good.
Always something, right?
How was your whirlwind travels of doing your baseball games and stadium?
That was incredible. Seven
Uh,
games in 7 days. It was a whirlwind. It was funny because it's amazing going through all these airports. They're all different, right? You think TSA is the same at all the airports, and they're not.
Take your shoes off at one, take your belt off another one, strip search at another one. Yeah, they're all different.
Well, it's crazy. My buddy was collecting the beer baseball bats, right? The plastic, big old bat, they fill beer and drink. So he's getting
Yeah.
one for every stadium, and we're leaving Denver, going to Phoenix, and he decides to put it in the. Most times he had it sticking out of the backpack, right? No problem. Gets to the airport, it's like, okay, I'm going to start packing. He gets, some clothes and socks and all in the bats in the suitcases, not to take up room. Goes through security, and security says, no, they're considered weapons. He had to go back out and check the bag, and it was just a headache and a half. So
And what was it? What was considered a weapon?
the plastic baseball bat that you drink
Oh,
it, yeah, and because they
gotcha.
had stuff in it, considered a weapon. But
Oh,
it
gee.
was fun. But I
So,
actually I had something I want to share with you this morning. I want to get your thoughts on it because we
yes.
talk. You and I are numbers guys, right? We look at numbers all the time. And I was looking yesterday. We were talking with Damon Emerson from Storage Shield
Yeah.
about protection plans and coverages and all these things. And I'm just going to share this so you can see it here. Looking at my stores, right?
Yeah.
So we have, if I look at the policies, I got 6,300 occupied units, right? 4,900 protection plans for about almost 80% policies, right? But the
Nice.
one I'm interested in, I got almost 15% of upgraded policies, whether the 3,500 to 5,000 or the 20 or the $10,000 policies.
Yeah.
Almost 15% of my policies are upgraded. And when you think about that on a cap level and a value level to the property, if your normals are $13 and you got all these at 17 and 25, adding that much more revenue to a portfolio just increases that much more value.
No, of course. What are you doing to get the upgrade? I mean, besides just saying, giving them the option when they're renting and like, here's,
Well,
different.
the option when they're renting, we're trying to do the recommended levels on the website and all that, but we train our managers that if you're talking to somebody on phone and they're renting it, so the rule of thumb in our organization, anything up to a 10 by 20, you're going to recommend a $3,500 plan for 17. And then anything over that, you're going to recommend a 5,000 because the bigger the unit, the more value it has, right?
Sure,
And
yeah.
the reason we started training that way, because what happens when I'm talking to Jim Ross as a customer, and hey, Jim, everybody's required to have some kind of insurance or protection on their thing, and we recommend a $3,500 plan for 17, and they're like, I don't know. Tell you what, Jim, I can back you down to my base model for $2,500 coverage for 13. Okay, I'll take that. But the mindset is if you start at their lowest one and they squawk, you got nowhere to go.
Yeah, of course.
So if you start a little higher and they squawk, you can back down, and
Yeah.
they think they got one over on you. But it's actually better. And same thing with the bigger units, because the bigger the unit, more stuff's in the unit. theoretically needing more coverage.
I almost wish that maybe it does have it this way. Like when you're renting the units, depending on what size that you rent, it'll automatically give that suggested.
Well, Storable's coming out with that with their insurance, the value per size. They're working on that right now. They actually have some people on. I was talking to Brandon about that earlier.
Yeah.
And we're doing it now with the recommended levels for the on our website that certain size. And it's interesting on our website. There's a box. Are you starting more than $5,000 worth of value? If you check that box, because some people will, it automatically defaults. You have to take the $5,000 or to $10,000 protection plan. You can't go less than that.
Oh, there you go. And
So,
and for your website, you're using the Storable template website, right? Or no?
Go Local.
Is it Go Local? Okay.
Go Local, and I've looked at Storagely, and I had a long conversation yesterday with Jamie Boris from Automated, because we're always, you and I are like, we're always picking brains and what can we learn and who's doing what, and
that's why we're doing this. Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's interesting. I just talked to Kurt Kleindes from Safeguard, and they just launched their brand new website, and they're doing things with their value pricing that if you take the better one, you get a free key fob for the gate and a lock. You do this one. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of giving anything away. The locks are part of the rental process. You're going to pay for it. But interesting, they actually do a discount. So instead of doing the 2 months, they are giving you people an option: 2 months half off, or they're doing 5 months at 20% off. Same value.
Yeah.
Just elongating it. And I asked him, I actually got a call with Kurt Monday, sorry. Just trying to track the repetition of who's doing what. Because, most of our customers think they're staying for a month or two. So I don't see most customers taking the long-term one because they got that mindset we're only here for a month or two.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
So I'm really curious how Kurt's going to come back with some data, because, data drives everything on how they're going. And my question to him was, I said, okay, how many people take the one and then call them out, oh man, I meant to take the other one. That's why we only offer one discount or concession on our website, because we don't want that. Well, I meant to pick the other one, or I meant to, keep it clean.
Yeah, I'm simple. I just try to be moving special, move it up front.
Hey, I see Bill Hoppins on here. Have you talked to Bill about their new product out there? Their walkthrough assistant for the managers on the tablets. I saw a video of it yesterday. It's really cool. Bill,
now, actually.
Can you hop on?
I can always hop on.
There you go.
There you go.
I was watching your video yesterday, and it was really funny. I know we got a call on Monday, but some of it looks really cool, and I'm devil's advocate going through it all. How much time are you saying it's saving for your people on the ground now? You doing the using the tablet, what's it called, Rafa?
Yeah, that's our field services technology. And I went out and did a walkthrough in Austin, Texas, in a 712 unit property with 30 customer interactions. So full walkthrough, every unit checked in an hour and 20 minutes. And it would have taken her 4 hours on a clipboard. Right. And she would have had to retype all the information into the property management system.
The only thing I want to tell you on your video, Bill, what you had on the clipboard, you called a walkthrough, was actually a rent roll. It wasn't a walkthrough.
All right, I'll change my terminology. You see that? I'm only 6 years in the industry, Jim. You're going to teach me something all the time.
Looking forward to seeing Vegas, but no, I thought the video was pretty cool. And Bill, if you want, drop a link to your YouTube video into the chat here. Let other people see it, because I think you're honest. I mean, I know I'm old school paper and pen for walkthrough, but I got a list of questions for you next week that I want to go through on that thing to see how that can become more effective. Now, the tablet has to be Wi-Fi or cellular enabled, right?
Cellular Wi-Fi, but in 3 weeks, we're having our offline version released because it was asked for several times. So it'll store the data on the tablet, and then when you get into Wi-Fi or cellular range, it'll upload it to the PMS.
Nice.
Yeah, cool. Including photos. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Including
super exciting.
Well, that was one of the questions on the photos. I might as well ask why I got to read the sort of photos. And I know you have at the end of the walkthrough, you have where the property inspection, like dates and keypads and all those things, right? Mm-hmm. what's to stop the person doing it from using an old picture? Are the pictures time stamped?
They are date and time stamped. And you know what's funny is that so we have three categories. We got brand standards, what you're talking about,
Right.
signage, office condition, landscaping. We got audits, which is traditionally maintenance related, like are you greasing the skids on the gates every 5,000 times it opens? And then we have your traditional walkthrough that you talked about. So yeah, you can take photos at each stages of those, and they're all date and time stamped. One of the things that our existing customers are finding, though, is that when they go do a drop in, they used to go do a drop in at a property to catch somebody what they were doing wrong.
Yeah.
Now they take all this information they have captured and they use it as a coaching opportunity. So, you know, and if you find somebody is uploading the same picture 3 times in a row, well, then you know what kind of employee you have. So how do I turn it into I'm going to catch you not actually doing your job into hey, how can we do your job better? How can we help you understand our brand standards? How can we help you have pride in what we're trying to accomplish together? It's been really cool. We've seen the mind shift. Again, I've only been in the industry 6 years, but talking about the facility manager's experience now, the employees' experience, people showing pride in what they're doing rather than, hey, let's catch them watching Netflix. Like that used to be the joke, right? Whenever I got here, they're just sitting behind the office watching Netflix. And I thought, well, God, how do we create an environment for employees to want to have passion for what they do, to want to support our brand promise? So that's been one of the nicest outcomes about this thing. It's not catching people doing wrong. It's showing them how can they be better and comparing facility managers to each other.
Yeah.
Right. You know, so
Yeah,
funny you
don't
said
want
that,
to
Bill. I
be.
just had a conversation this morning. We changed our facility girl at our 1 4 store hub in our way, and my area manager was there this morning. He goes, "Have you been here lately?" I said, "I was there 2 weeks ago, and I'll be there next week." He goes, "This place looks the best it's ever looked." I said, "Okay, stop what you're doing. Call Tara on the phone. You know, whatever we got to do, and then when I'm there next week, I'm gonna hand Tara a gift card to Amazon, whatever. I know she's getting married, so I'm gonna hand her a gift card that she can do something to reward the manager, and you're rewarding them for doing their job, but you're appreciating what they're doing." So I think Bill, you and I got to have a conversation in Vegas, maybe have breakfast or something. I got a few things that I'm on my mind that, especially in the remote properties, for me, how to check certain things. And I think some of your technology, and we'll get into offline questions of it, but the checking the history, and that's one of the things I was concerned about, going back and looking at the history of the old walkthroughs. But I think now with your integration with DaVinci Lock 2, it's a nice part too. So I think you've come a long way with that. So I'm excited to sit with you guys next week. And that's why I'm glad you're on here. I wanted to, but if you can drop that video in the chat conversation so other people can watch that video you have.
just did. It's in the chat. If anybody's interested, I appreciate it, Jim, very much. Jim and Jim.
Yeah,
Jim squared.
Yeah, exactly. ×2. Yeah, I testing it out right now. I did it about 3 weeks ago, something like that. We got it rolled into one of my sites and just kind of putting it through its paces, going through all that because yeah, it's one of those things, especially for remote.
Yeah,
Being to have that kind of accountability and oversee, especially the walkthrough, just that kind of stuff. Because going back to what you're talking about before, you don't want to manage and be like in a supervisor position. You don't want to manage in a gotcha position. There's nothing worse than being like, gotcha, look what I found that you did wrong. That's everyone gets pissed off. You make everyone's feelings hurt and they quit. And no.
I just had a conversation
about learning from each other and just kind of you're going through this together, and this is more of that system of it's accountability, but you're doing it together. So I like it.
Can I share one example of our walkthrough in Austin?
Absolutely.
Just one simple example, because I hadn't done a lot of walkthroughs. So we walk through and there's a boat trailer with a flat tire. And she takes a picture and sends a predefined email and chat to that customer, letting them know, hey, you got a flat tire here, proactively. And they responded back and said, thank you so much. We were going to the lake this weekend. So it's those little things that we're doing that wouldn't have been done in a manual walkthrough, right? They might have written a note. They may have remembered to do it 3 or 4 hours later, but it may have fallen through the cracks. And that to me was kind of like making units available and all this stuff, we know that's important, but that proactive engagement with our customers to keep them around, I think sometimes we forget about that. So we're really thrilled with the results so far, and we appreciate you guys looking at the tool because it just helps us be better.
Right.
No,
Jim, I just had a conversation yesterday with a gentleman doing some consulting work, and we talked about mystery shops, and you could see him kind of cringe and roll his eyes. I said, dude, we don't, same thing that Bill was saying and you were saying, we don't use the mystery shops as a, hey, I caught you. We use it as a learning tool. And using Dan Cosgrove from Mercantile System, the back door is so advanced and so on top of it that when you start looking at shops over a period of time, you see trends that you might have missed just looking at one shop overall. And hey, how about we ask this question, or we rephrase the question this way to get it right? And for me, it's still, if the shop's not logged into software, it's an automatic 0. Again, I'm not trying to catch you doing something wrong. I'm trying to show you the value. And I talk all the time when I consult, is what's the value of one rental to your property? And most people are like, I don't know. But when you show them the value and the length of stay is 18, 19, 20 months, and that's a $2,500, $3,000 value to your property, kind of puts it in a little different perspective for people that will know every one of them are very important. And as we all know, inquiries have been down and rentals are, we're back to the old new normal again. And I think that part of it is having that stuff for people to look at. So.
Yep. Here, I'm just typing an answer to Mitchell here. He asked about an SEO person, so I'll send him my go-to.
Yep.
There you go. Cool.
Hey, Sherry, what was that video I saw on Facebook of you doing some kind of dance or handshake thing? What was that about?
What'd I miss?
Yeah, you got to. You're muted, Sherry.
Sorry. We've been working on a secret handshake with my grandson. He's in 5th grade, so I got to stay cool. So yes, we came up with a secret handshake. It was fun. He had a good time.
I was laughing. And Sherry, did you see that there's a only wild Uno card game now?
No. How does that work?
I saw it. I think I'm gonna buy it for Vegas to bring with me.
Do it. Come by my booth.
I always stop by your booth.
I know you do.
All right, Jim, I got a question for you. Put you on the spot for 10 minutes here. Because we've talked about before about square foot, optimizing square foot as much as you can to kind of help offset the cost, and you can pay a lower bid but get higher because of your optimizations.
Yep.
Would you mind if I share my screen? Look at this one. So it's kind of a blank slate, frankly. I just took this site over, kind of a blank slate. Give me your guidance. I figure everyone else that's watching this that has sites might glean some value out of that. So
all right, let's see it.
Mine? Okay.
No.
Let me admit this person. Cool. All right, share my screen.
I like your desktop.
I try to clean it every Friday. Then it gets all that messed up again, and I do it again next Friday. That's how it goes.
Okay.
Okay. So this site here.
All right, before you do that, go to the photos. Let me see the photos.
Yep.
All right, first of all, your default photo is, I would change that one immediately. It's not, it's too far back. It doesn't give you anything good. Yep. I would actually make one of your first on my pages. I have an overhead of my property, but I also have the gate as you're going in. So you kind of see as you're driving in what you're going to expect.
Yep.
And for me, the photos look very, very dark.
Gloomy. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't look bright, and they're all kind of it looks like you got more ground than doors. So the photos don't do anything for me as a customer.
Perfect. I'm giving you the easy ones, so okay, that's perfect.
Oh, thanks, dude.
No, but that's good though, because this is one of those things where, again, everyone that's on here, again, you're on these calls to better yourself and your business, and sometimes it's these little things are like, oh, I know that. I'll get to it next week, and a year later you haven't touched it. So
hit the details tab.
Yep. So that's perfect. So yeah, we'll upload those. We'll change those up. Definitely for the photos. I wish you could do videos, but you can't do that yet. All right.
We have the over. Tell you what, anybody who can do a drone cameras or anything like that, and I know Josh Huff is out there. He does drone footage for people. If you can get those overhead shots of your property on a nice, clear, sunny day, they pay dividends.
Oh, dude, that's Josh will probably hate me for saying this, but I'm working on this. That it's come out. I'll do a tutorial on it once I figure it out myself. But there's a new tool that you can plug in with Google Earth and just type in your address, and it will do a drone footage video of your site.
Really?
As long as it's up to date. If it's a brand new site, obviously they don't have the footage of it yet. But if it's kind of an older site, you can kind of do the drone footages yourself.
Now, the other thing I like that people are doing, taking a couple of photos of your property at night with all the lights on and showing it at night. That's another good one.
Okay. So nice.
I would probably have 6 to 10 photos in my, and I think each of my stores has 6 to 10 photos.
Okay. So we'll definitely do a photos thing. All right. What next?
Go to details for me. All right. That's all your information. Go to amenities. I'm sorry. I want that one.
Yep.
Okay. Truck runner, scroll down. Video cameras, resident manager, no 24-hour kiosk, no, okay. Email invoices, yes. First of the month, yes. Security deposit, yep. Military. Okay, good. Go back up. Go to view on. I just want for shits and giggles. Click on the right hand side. View on sparefoot.com. Down, right there.
I know. I'm just moving the pictures so
Oh.
I can't see it. There we go. Okay.
All right, so let's take a peek at it. All right, so first thing that jumps out at me, Emerald pictures. I don't see any reviews.
Yep. Brand new, but yeah, that's why. But okay.
I don't see any reviews. Again, looking at it from the perspective, and anybody in the room chime in, because would that picture make you want to go there? Nothing about that screams come at me. The other thing they don't have on there is, I don't know what you're using, Jim, but everybody's doing the if you do it right, you have the e-sign or the e-rentals, the electronic rentals, and that's not, their banners aren't on here either. So if people are looking for that stuff, it's not there. Scroll down a little bit.
Yep.
Oh, the e-rental's up top, but it's not highlighted. So if you scroll up, you see it there up top. Keep going.
Oh, right there, you mean. Okay.
Yeah, but it's not, usually it's down more in the middle. Scroll down for pricing. 1 unit left, 50. So you must have value pricing here, Jim, because why do you have 10 by 10s 3 times at the same price?
I'm going to clean that up. It's one of those things. It's how it's in the system.
Okay. Well, but again, that to me is why is it? Because you're now wasting retail space because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 unit types, but you got to scroll all the way down because you're losing how many lines with the same unit over and over again.
Yep. Perfect. Are you guys getting some value out of this? Because again, I'm using this site as an example to hopefully you're put this through the lens of your own locations and being like, oh, I can change that up. Because it's so often, especially like any of the softwares, if you have your size description could be the exact same size, but you have a little different description of it, it'll categorize it separately and it'll display it separately like that. And it gets way confusing, way too fast for customers. So
like here, if you look at your 10 by 30s, you got 3 got the 119, 2 got the 119. They're now here's your one says drive-up access roll-up door interior.
Yep.
One says drive-up access, outdoor access, roll-up door. So it's the same unit, but it's same size, but one's inside, one outside. So why would not the inside one be cheaper?
Yep.
So making sure, as Jim said, making sure you have all your amenities correct on every one of them to make sure you're where you want to be. But yeah, there's no reviews on there. So I mean, that's a big thing. We talk about all the time. Everybody's focusing on Google reviews and stuff like that. You can, Jim, do you know how to send a review request through Sparefoot?
I'm going to show people right now real quick. So right there,
Well, no. If you're in your MyHub dashboard,
Oh,
you can
yeah.
actually go and solicit reviews from existing customers.
Okay.
But no, I mean I think the biggest thing for me, Jim, is the picture. It's not inviting.
Gotcha.
And think about it, you got what, 6 seconds on a screen to have somebody want to click on your property?
Yep. Yeah, it's one of those sites where, man, you got to do anything you can to get up. Again, just took it over, so we're cleaning this thing up here.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
Check this out. Again, hopefully you guys get like this. It says full transparency with this kind of stuff. So, 200%. We're at 13th and 16th. To me, you don't exist, frankly, if you're that if you're that far down. But you do what you can to be able to be seen. Look at this.
Yeah, there's
Go
tricks
ahead.
you can do, Jim.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about here. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
What were some tricks?
Well, so the tricks for me, when you the bid rate is only one part of the algorithm. Okay.
Yeah.
So for me and working with them as long as I have, I've learned some of the tricks. Reviews are critical. Good reviews, good pictures, your click-through rate, and all your closing rates are all part of that. So if you start doing better on the ones you're getting and start getting better results, you're going to see more data. You're going to see more of an increase organically than paying them for that. And while we're on here, Bill, you got Biggerfoot, right? What is Biggerfoot, right? No, it's drawing a blank, Bill. Patrick, somebody help me out.
Bigfoot.
Yep.
Bigfoot. And that goes in and helps maximize those things. So Bill has another product as well. There are things you can do organically. And one of the reasons why Bill and I have had this conversation a couple times that I'm not on Bigfoot is because I don't change my bid rate. I don't have to. We're doing everything else we can. So I really don't want to increase my bid rate if I don't have to. But by doing those things, and Jim, I'm looking right now. So through 2023, okay, my stores, Sparefoot got me 1,220 rentals. Okay. Now I did pay Sparefoot $163,000. However, my average cost per rental across my platform for Sparefoot last year was $133.73. Would you take that, Jim?
Depends on the area, but yeah. Okay.
Think about it. I mean, realistically, what are you paying for Google ads and
Yeah, no, I would definitely take that because for AdWords and Google ads, it's expensive. So no, I know what I'm willing to pay for a rental. I know what I'm willing to pay for a lead. So
Right.
yeah, I would
But
definitely do that.
the thing you got to remember with Sparefoot, you're actually paying for a rental. You're not paying for a click.
Yep.
Big difference.
We actually had someone saying that, hey, do me. Who's that? Mitchell. I don't care if you want to take 5 minutes. If people are getting the value out of this, if you want to jump on and share your screen, we'll
Hey Jim, so you said what's increasing that conversion then? So you keep your bid rate the same. So what's that actual tip? Is it that you're focusing more on the conversion then, or okay?
Conversion, reviews, quality pictures. Because I get a report from them on a regular basis, and this is something I've been pushing Sparefoot to do for everybody on their dashboard, to be able to give you some good, real data to help you there. But one of the things I see a lot of times, and I'll give you, Mitchell, I did a consulting job 2 years ago in Texas, right down by Texas A&M, and the guy had Sparefoot. He's getting leads. He's not following up with the leads. He's not doing anything from a operational perspective, for a lead to lease perspective, to follow up on these things. I can tell you in June, I probably had one of the highest closing percentages on Sparefoot that were out there, because of how we work with it, we don't treat Sparefoot leads any different than we do any other lead. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. But we focus on every lead comes in the door. We want to know what's going on. So for June, if I pull this up real quick, and I'll share this screen so you guys can see it.
And just real quick while you're pulling it up.
Yep.
Again, didn't want to take this over with my own question, guys, but I want to have you guys some value out of that. while we're here, we got 30 more minutes. So any other questions, comments you guys specifically have? Cool. Let us know.
So I'm going to share it with you real quick, just so you can see it. In the month of June, I had a 57% close rate for Sparefoot. And I'm looking here, days on network, current photos, current reviews, average review rating. These are all critical parts. Same thing over here. Click-through rate, submit rate, all these things are important. Now, this store here at Susquehanna, I can tell you, they only had a 33% close rate because they're 97% occupied. Can't do much about that. But if you look at all these ones down here in green, 4 reservations, 2 rented, here 27 and 19, 27 and 23. They're, focusing on the dotting the I's and crossing the T's. I had a 57% close rate that month. Bill, you work with Sparefoot, these guys all the time. Patrick, same thing for you. Question to you guys. What's that number look like to you?
Our best customers are at 44%. And because Sparefoot is usually an afterthought, right? It's traditionally marketers believe that they can do a better job through SEO and PPC. And what we're saying is well, if the unit's vacant for 4 months, you've lost $400. So get somebody in there for $250 if you can. So we're working through those challenges. But yeah, the best we see is 45 to 50%. Most people that aren't spending any time focused on Sparefoot at all are sub 30% conversion. They're missing 20%. So 2 out of every 10 reservations, they're missing out on a rental because they're not focused on it.
Well, the problem, Bill, is and I said to John Jordan from Go Local, and I said to Steve Lucas from Storage, all these guys, they're like, well, just give me the money for here. And I said, here's again, 1,220 rentals last year. And again, I know 28 stores is a lot of data, but convince me, Bill, that if I'm not on Sparefoot, would I have gotten half of those? And the answer is no.
No.
Because the customer's already there. They're already looking. So if I want to play the game, I got to be there. But if I'm going to be there, I'm going to play the game well.
Yeah. Well, you guys travel a lot, so this is probably a bad example because you may probably go right to Hilton to get your hotel, or you go right to American to get your airline. But how many people are using aggregators, hotels.com? How many people are, right? I mean, they just are. So if you don't accept that the aggregator is going to show up in the top 3, right? Maybe it's really not part of your marketing philosophy. Jim, here's another thing we're noticing. Operations seems to own Sparefoot and marketing owns all the other stuff. They're actually dividing them up. And so instead of making it a channel of acquisition for marketing, it's kind of like, well, we don't want to pay a month's rent or 2 months rent. So we're going to move it over here and only do it when we're in desperate situations of low occupancy, instead of making it a strategy across the board.
Big mistake. I got people who only put like one size unit on there. And here's the tip I learned a long time ago. If you're going to be on Sparefoot, jump in with both feet. Every unit type you have online. I don't care, because if you only pull, pick and choose, the algorithm's going to hurt you and you're not going to rank as well. All these pieces, I mean, guys, you're dealing with this every day. If you're not 100% committed to Sparefoot and being there, and you're only piecemealing it, Sherry, it'd be the same thing for you. Like, what if we had, Sherry, pop on screen for me. So what if we had a company that's using a call center and they say, Sherry, we only want you to rent the 5x10s and 10x10s. Same principle, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So what, if you're going to be there, commit to it and be it. And like Bill said, maximize what you can, use the tools you have. And guys, you don't have to pay 5 times the bid rate if you got everything else in a row. And just simple things like pictures. Pictures are huge. Update your pictures. And Bill, I like having my gate one front. I mean, I don't know what you guys recommend, but a gate one and overhead one for me are 2 great pictures. We've even contemplated putting a picture of our camera system up there so people know we got cameras.
Exactly right. Is it secure? Is it clean? Like close-ups, right? Do I have a multitude of units? You're right. It's almost even like doing an auction picture. It's like, what I need all of these quadrants, and I need at least 8 of them. 8 pictures, really good pictures. And it makes a huge difference. By the way, your conversion rate impacts where you show up in Sparefoot. By the way, your submission rate impacts. So for those of you just using it as a last resort, you're not telling the marketplace, Storable in this particular case, that you want to do business with them. And I know some of you don't, but the idea that like they're going to help you improve, when you put better pictures up, they're going to help you show up higher on the in the rankings. Your minimum bid might actually come down if you start to use them. Right now, a lot of you are up, 1.5 plus. Don't ask Jim because he's been a customer for 20 years, so that doesn't count.
I can tell you, Bill, that I am ranking with my low bid rate. I'm ranking better than people bidding twice what I'm bidding.
That's why I want to bring this up, because this comes up all the time. People are just like, again, we kind of a broken record the last few times we talked about this, but just the number of leads is just not what it used to be coming in. So you got to be, marketing is just, it's you're vying for attention. So you got to be anywhere and everywhere that they might be able to find you. So that's why I want to bring this up. I thought some people would get some value out of that.
And the other tidbit I have for people is, if you're going to have pictures on your website and Sparefoot and other aggregators out there, keep them consistent. So that way, if they're on Sparefoot and they see pictures and they wind up on your website, make sure the same pictures are there too. That way they're not saying, why does this look different all of a sudden?
I wonder if, speaking of pictures now, in that default picture, does Sparefoot have any rules against putting putting in the camera, put like a banner saying, best value in town or move-in specials? Are you able to modify pictures at all?
Sure. I mean, years ago, I had one with a GIF of a smiley face juggling money I put on there.
Yeah, so there you go. I know, like Google My Business, for example, you're not allowed to do that for your default picture. You can't modify it, but Sparefoot, take an extra 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Put a
Make
picture
it
in
your,
Canva.
make it your second picture.
Yeah.
Make it your second one if you can, but move it over. But have good picture. And like I said, no, that one, Jim, that was a great example of not picking on a store that's misrun, but golden opportunity. Just pictures alone would upgrade that picture, and getting reviews on there. And through my foot, you can actually go to your existing customers and start requesting reviews.
Yeah. I want to bring this up because I thought a lot of people get some out of it, but when I'm doing the Google Business Profile optimizations for people, it's the same thing. It's just it's that low hanging fruit that, man, if you just, doesn't take long to hurry and fix that, but you'll get a lot of dividends out of that for just a little bit of time and effort to change those kind of things. So same idea, same thing.
I just had one last week, Jim, a guy we bought a store from. He's got 2 other stores, and he called me because I'm just not getting anything. I turned it to an unmanned facility because whatever. And he sent me 3 pictures. I said to him, Warren, nobody knows you're there. I said, you got a building, but you can't get in. There's no signage. So we changed a few things. We put up a sign up front, we can help you no matter what. QR code for rent, QR code to pay. We're here to help. Phone number. He got 4 rentals in 2 weeks because people drove by and saw, hey, well, okay, I'll just do this, and they rented units.
Curious. So they drove by the signage. So you're talking, obviously, you have like the little smaller signs when they're on the property and they're ready to rent. Are you doing more attention getting signage saying for remote facilities?
Well, this one here, he had a big sign. He had a door, but it was always closed, and he had put a bigger sign, like a 3x3 sign on the wall, saying, we're here to help, even though we're not, something like we're not here, but we're here, and said, call this number. And that way, when people pull up there and they couldn't get in, because think about it, if you pull up to I got a good one. I just did we have a store in Greencastle, PA, and I went to see a new competitor that was there. Drove up to the property, and it's a small sign gate says, hey, this facility's run remotely. Call this number. I called the number. I got Michelle's voicemail. Said, hey, we're not here right now. Leave a message. I'll get back to you. And the voicemail box was full.
Oh, jeez.
Couldn't leave a message. Like, okay, there's a lost opportunity.
And that's someone that's not whoever's running that site or the owner or whatever. It's just not doing the checkup. Not just doing a simple audit of calling your own site and seeing what's up. Because I've come across that too.
So hold on. Somebody has put it on comment here. Journey said, a lot of people know our bright red doors off the main road, but we have no availability at the office location. Our annex is the one with availability. So Do you have sign? So where's your office on that one? Can you comment on that? Is your office at the main one, I'm assuming, in the annex? So you point people over there, but you have signage on both? Your mic's off.
Our office is at the, it's on the main road with the bright red doors, but our annex it's down the road some.
Okay.
And people, they're just like, well, we want the bright red doors here because it's convenient location, even though we have to go down the road some for the annex.
So is your annex price a little bit more, is it more of a discounted price to have that little bit of going down the road? Have you guys thought about pricing it differently to maybe entice people to want to use it? Or
the annex has,
only X down the road?
Our annex has more variety of sizes, whereas here at the office, they're all one size.
Okay.
And they're shocked with it. They
I
want
would
the
just take
location
advantage of
over
that
that
and
price.
maybe even have a picture at your main facility of the annex down the road and saying, you know, multiple sizes available for your convenience, something like that. That's, you know, kind of tie the two together to make it better. But something you can do it. There's anytime you run, I don't know about you, Jim. Anytime I run into an obstacle, and I hate the word I can't or we won't. It just bothers me to no end. There's always a way to do something. Just think outside the box. And maybe it's a picture, maybe it's a sign, maybe it's a banner, maybe it's, you know, maybe a 10 by 10 up, you know, is cheaper down there. But when people tell me I can or I won't or it won't work, that just fuels me more to find a way to make it work.
Dig into sort of a little bit more. So what do you think when people they're coming to your site and you're like, cool, the availability is just down the road at that location? Just because it doesn't look as pretty? What's the main thing that's getting in the way?
It's not as bright. It's more, before we took it over, it was in a very bad spot.
Wow.
There's a lot of break-ins, and a lot of people, they hold on to that. And they're like, man, there was a lot of break-ins over there. So we've spruced up the security. We're going through that. So I've been going through, they're like, well, we want a location here. And I'm like, look, we have good security over here. Let's go take a look. I'm having to go. And they're hesitant. There's times where they'll follow me and they just take off.
Really?
Okay, but before you go, you're capturing their information, like phone number and all that stuff, so you can get back with them. But the big thing I would do is, you know, talk about it maybe at your office where you're at. Do you have the cameras in your remote one in your office that you can show them the cameras are live?
I have them on a computer TV screen right here next to me.
How big of a TV screen is it?
It's a 45 inch.
Okay, point that out, signage around it, but you know, figure out what's the problem, and then, you know, even down there, make sure it's well lit, everything's clean around it. You got to work around that one, but I mean, maybe that's a case where, okay, well, you know what, up here I don't have it, down there I have it. I'll give you 2 months half price or even 3 months half price to get some good traction down there. And then when the ones get there, start getting more reviews about the cleanliness and how you've upgraded that thing. We're doing it right now. We picked up a store in Indiana that was really, I don't want to say poorly run, but it wasn't effectively run. And every person we're running into on the property now, my managers are going, the guys on the ground, hey, can I spray your, because all the door tracks haven't been taken care of. When they see their, hey, would you mind if I spray and take care of your door real quick? And they're spraying the springs and the track and working on the door. And they're doing a couple things, picking up the trash. And then when Eddie's done, say, hey, Bill, you know, I'm new here. We're just trying to get this product. If I sent you a link for a review, would you mind helping me out? You know, we took care of you, got you straight. And you do that, they're going to say yes. But have the thing you can send right to them. Have your team when you're. I tell this all my guys, they all wear the neon shirts with the staff on the front and back. When you see somebody come in, walk up to them. How you doing? Can I help you with anything? And especially Brownsburg, we've been spraying door tracks left and right just to get people's doors to flow a little bit better. And it goes a long way.
And just one little simple suggestion too. You may already have this, but put just a little sign, make it look nice and pretty, not just like handwritten, but underneath the monitors of exactly that location's name, you know, location 1, location 2, something like that. just to hammer it home that it is being monitored and make that distinction of the locations. Again, that may help too. All right, we got, just let everyone know, we got what, about 15 more minutes. Usually the top of the hour, I try to be mindful of everyone's time, so we'll cut it off in 15 minutes and we'll see you next time. So yeah, any questions, comments, jump in. Otherwise, I got something here. Okay, anything else? Jump in. I had this come up earlier, Jim. Again, I always talk about topics that come up as I'm having conversations. This one guy is really struggling with auto pay participation, and he's like, I've tried everything, which we all know what that means. Probably didn't try anything, but yeah, trying the auto pay. What have you, again, I know you track your stats, you're the stat man looking at everything. That we all know the things that the numbers that you track, they inspect, they improve. That's just how things go. So what have you been doing for auto pay?
So I will be the first to tell you that I like auto pay, but I'm not gonna kill myself at night to get to it. People are gonna, we're first of the month billing, so people are gonna pay, but we also like to have some late fee revenue, right? So when people renting online, we offer auto pay. We talk to them whenever we're sending them an email. We have on our invoice, hey, don't forget our no late fee guarantee. You'll never be late if you have the auto pay. We try to push that. One thing we've done to augment auto pay is we're going to get some. We do pretty well at certain stores, but I think we've talked about this before, Jim. Anybody who rents with me who's not on auto pay automatically gets an invoice 6 days before they're due with a hyperlink to pay their bill. And then we have Express Collect and the robocalls and all those things we do when we run the auto pay. We send a friendly reminder out there. So we've developed a good program for auto pay, but then we've also developed the secondary one that if you're not going to be on auto pay, we have other processes for you to get the money to us. And as we explained to the managers jobs become easier when you start sending people invoices and all these things and the friendly reminder text and all these things, that when somebody calls in and says, if Patrick's on the air and says, hey, I forgot to pay my bill, I'm late, you can't charge me a late fee. Well, Patrick, I'm sorry. We sent you an invoice 6 days before you're due. We sent you a friendly reminder. We ran the credit cards. You got a text message, a robocall, and a call from my managers. I can't help you with that. If you want, and I know people say, well, if you sign up for auto pay, I'll waive the late fee this time. I don't do that because you know why? The next month that auto pay is not going to work anyway. And I don't know if you're aware of this, Jim. We've talked a couple times about it. Looking at statistics, about 58 to 62% of credit cards that are used for storage facilities are actually debit cards. So if the money's not in their account, money's not in their account, they can't pay it.
Yeah.
So we do push auto pay. When you sign it, when you go to make a payment online, hey, would you like to enroll in auto pay? We have that ability. But at the end of the day, and I know some company out there to say, we only do auto pay. And I kind of laugh when I hear that because you and I both know that on any given month, if you had a 500 unit property, you're going to have 10, 12, 15, 20 that fail the first day, second day. So it's really not true auto pay. And what happens, and I actually asked one of the companies, and so if it fails more than once, what do you do? Kick them out? I'm like, well, no. You're not true auto pay.
Yeah.
Auto pay is great to have, absolutely. But at the end of the day, as long as it gets paid and we have processes in place to help it, and look, we give them options because I can tell you right now, I don't have any bill in my house on auto pay because I had gotten a position years ago where I really got behind on something. Yeah. So now my wife will be the first to tell you, I get mad at her if she misses one because we don't want that to happen, but I'm not going to go on auto pay. So I would be a bad customer for some people.
You would. See, I'm the exact opposite. If it's not automated and auto pay, it doesn't exist. So, yep, totally opposite. But no, I want to bring that up because I see someone else talking about discounts and that too.
No.
I've told, call center and managers and that, especially if it's a site that has a higher delinquency that you're dealing with. I've told them that we'll waive the fee. We'll waive the late fee if you enroll in auto pay. I've done that and played that game. So,
but how many fail their next month?
Oh, of course it is, but something's better than nothing. So at least I'll take.
I don't like to give anything away for free. Sorry,
I
dude.
know, I know. I sometimes you got to play the game though. Certain sites. That's that's how
Every
it goes.
market's different. I got
I
a couple
know.
properties that are no auto pay or low auto pay because of just how people get paid. And it's amazing the people, the stores that have low auto pay have high protection plan policies.
Yeah, well, I just had this conversation with an owner that I'm working with. He has two properties, opposite spectrums of one is like, oh, if the customers are late, they'll come and bring you fresh baked cookies and say, I'm sorry, and other side is like, you gotta beg for people to pay their bills, and delinquencies are crazy and break-ins and all that kind of stuff. So that was like 30 minutes of my hour-long conversation was just talking about every site's different. Every site has a little different flavor and different vibe, and you can try to have your systems and all that stuff in place to make things uniform. But sometimes at the end of the day, it's you get different results depending on who you're catering to.
I think it's also how you train your customers. Because I know, and if Jeff Greenberger were on here, he would scream and yell at people because I love when I hear a manager say, "Yeah, you're late on the first, but there's a grace period for till the fixed." That great in certain states, that term grace period can get you in a lot of trouble in an auction process.
A lot of gray area. Yeah.
So we tell people all the time, look, Ryan, hey, your rent's due on or before the first without demand. After that, you are considered late. Set the expectation up front. And we don't waive them. But again, having good policies in place, making sure that your policies are followed up and the calls are being made, the robocalls are going out, the text messages, the emails are going out. But I can tell you, and I've tracked it multiple times, having an email invoice with a hyperlink a couple days before they're due, you'll see a spike in online rentals right then and there because people are going to say, you know what, I'm due now, I'm just going to pay it.
Yeah.
And it works.
No, it's doing those what do you call it, the express collect or the collection manager, whatever that terminology is. That's helped so much, just being able to automate that process. What we're talking about is basically it's when people get late, it sends off a trigger, especially to text. That's the number one way people are seeing these notices. So they get a
As long as
text.
they got the hyperlink in there to pay. And the other trick that we've told all the time is if you're putting a link in your email, whatever, make sure the link goes to your payment portal and not your main page because you don't want them to see what current rates are right now, especially if your current rates are lower than what they're paying. So I always have mine go right to the payment portal.
Yeah, and a lot of times right now, I know this. I'm just setting it up with Express Collect or the collection manager, whatever it's called. I keep forgetting the name of it. With Storable, now they bought Call Potential. It's all kind of under the same brand. But when they send out those texts to click the button to pay, the nice thing is they don't need to know their username or password. It's hyperlinked directly to that unit, and it just makes things so much easier. You don't have to worry about what's my username and password, all that kind of BS. Helps out tremendously with calls as well. It's great.
We use Express Collect from OpenTech, and we're averaging $30,000 a month in payments.
Seriously, that's great.
Oh yeah, easy. It's seamless. It's quick, and we've actually with the one from Express Collect for OpenTech, we can change our message. So our first one's friendly, second one's a little and the one that goes out like day 25 says, hey, if you don't want that $150 lien fee, you better pay your bill now.
It's got an image of some guy from The Sopranos. You got Guido. Like, we know where you live, man. Well, you better pay. That's why I don't have those kind of companies. I'd be too much of a smart ass and get myself in trouble. All right. We got what? No, a little bit. About 5 more minutes, guys. So speak now or forever hold your peace, or at least until 2
Come on,
weeks.
Anthony don't have anything to say this week. Come on, Anthony. You're letting me down, dude.
I'm trying to be quiet and just hang out this week, man. I'm letting y'all do your thing, but I just do want to.
Got
I'm
a
just
hangover going?
No, not a hangover. Just did my 12 hours of work yesterday and just trying to wrap up the week so I can spend some time with the kids this weekend. Anyway, just a little bit of shout out to you, Jim Jr. Thank you very much for the introduction to Warren Overhead. At Veritech, we were able to do a demo yesterday and very impressed with what they got going on there. So
it's I was telling somebody yesterday, my online rentals this month so far, 40% of my online rentals this month have taken the upgraded rates.
Yep. And it's something that we've actually turned the company where we're using, we actually turned it off. We've turned to a manual process till we can find a better solution. So
Veritech
not
could be a
fun.
good solution for you.
The manual process is not fun.
When you
No,
put manual in front of anything, dude, it's not fun.
No,
I'm too old for manual shit.
that's why I like this format, because it's just like, hey, if we can make an introduction, we have no dog in the fight in this kind of stuff. I mean, again, me and Jim again are third party management, all the kind of things. We try and sample all the different vendors, and if we can make a introduction, cool, point you in the right direction. You can, I don't know, we hopefully get value out of that, because we're just speaking our truth of what works for us and what hasn't worked for
Hey,
us.
look, we talked about building it, and he's still here, so we must have done something right.
Yeah, we didn't piss him off too much.
He hasn't bailed on us yet, so
I love being here.
No, that's perfect.
it's fun.
This is like going to be my way of seeing everyone. I'm not going to be able to go to the SSA, unfortunately. I won't see you. It's long story. My wife's having like a heart procedure like on September 5th. So it's like right smack dab in the middle of SSA. I'm like, nope, can't
Yeah.
go. So
Well, Dave Cooper and I are doing the manager session on Tuesday, and we've been really focusing on the day in the life of the manager, and we got some really fun stuff we're going to talk about and get that going. So actually, they want me to do that, and then I think I'm gonna reprise it a little bit in Georgia, South Carolina, and I'm also speaking in October in Texas. So it'll be fun. Somebody asked me the other day, and Jim, same way, when I like to, on stage speaking, whatever, and when I see the light bulb go off over somebody's head, that's just adrenaline for me. It makes me feel good that and when they come back to you later and say, hey, by the way, I did what you were talking about, and it worked fantastic, it's just even better.
Well, that's the point we're doing this. I mean, it's not just sitting here at BS and be like, hey, cool, how are things? Yes, it's a good catch-up session, but the whole thing is we want people to get something out of this. So
did
yeah.
everybody find this barefoot thing enlightening or interesting? Kind of, comments, because I mean, that was fun for us. I mean, when we can show people things and give you a little bit to make, just make and again, as we talk about all the time, you don't need to recreate the wheel. And I always ask an owner or a manager, what would 3 more rentals a month do to your property? Not talking a lot, 3.
Yep.
What would 3 more rentals do for a facility?
It's kind of funny you said that. I'm going to be doing like a 3-hour workshop. I have a 3, if you haven't catch on, I have like a 3 theme in my business. So I'm doing like a 3-hour workshop about getting 3 extra rentals on how you can do that with customer service and with marketing and with just overall operations. So I'll be putting that out.
As long as you don't take that approach at home.
I'll do my own thing.
Just don't take that approach at home with your wife. She might not be happy. 3 of everything,
Damn, dude. Okay. All right.
Hey Jim, I got a question for you because I was had a phone call right in the middle of that. If we want to go back and rewatch this, how can we do that?
I just put a link because someone asked that same question. So I put it in there. I put the recordings, that link to see it, 3milestorage.com/events, Jim&Jim. Put all the recordings there that we've had in the past. Register for, well, if you're already on here, you already have a link, but share the link to anybody else for next time. But I put all the recordings there for everyone.
Jim, we still need to put that Facebook page together for this so people can, go back and forth there.
Yes, we do. Okay. Add that to the list. All right. Thanks, guys. Well, let's wrap this up. It is that time. That hour goes by fast. Real quick, since you kind of like that, where I was kind of the guinea pig, I don't know, maybe it can be ideas for the future. If you want to have any kind of a case study, you want us to look at, I don't know, your website or Google Business Profile or whatever, and you want to volunteer yourself, cool. Hit us up. Let me know. Maybe we can have you on as a case study, because I think going through that, looking at a certain part of their operations, people will glean some value out of that because they can put themselves in your own situation. So something to think about. All right, let's wrap this up. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. We'll do this again in 2 weeks.
Have a great weekend, guys.